One of Boris's first major acts as Prime Minister was to invest £850 million to pay for new wards, intensive care units, diagnostic centres and refurbishing existing facilities over the next 5 years. How he's going to raise this money we'll go into momentarily. Now this is part of a programme that will see the NHS get what they are asking for, and that this is new money, not pre-existing guaranteed money the government has promised to invest. Boris Johnson has also said that an extra £1 billion this year will be invested, extra by the way, to improve and maintain existing buildings. The government has already committed to spending £6.7 billion on building and infrastructure, which includes IT, during 2019 to 2020. Now, Boris Johnson has said the money is less than 1%, the new money that is, of the annual NHS budget, which would mean new beds, new wards and extra life-saving equipment. He had previously said that he was determined to deliver on the promise of the 2016 referendum after the claim on the side of those buses of £350 million a week being spent on the NHS instead of being sent to the EU. It is well established at this present time there are staffing issues, many of whom are being drawn in from continental Europe. Boris Johnson's way of addressing this was to say, on top of the £34 billion we're putting into the NHS, the lion's share of which will go on staffing, attracting, retaining, professionally developing the staff in the NHS. Which means the burden now placed on the Health Secretary Matt Hancock means that this is priority number one. The claim is that because of the current state of the economy, with it growing, although I did notice with my currency from AdSense being in dollars and me getting more money, I'm inclined to believe the pound is down, whether that's economy-based, I don't know. I just like more money, okay? Smash the like button, I need it. Because the claim is that the economy is growing, there'll be more funds available this year, which does mean that it's possible it might not always be that way. An analysis from health correspondent Nick Triggle suggests that while it is new money, let's assume that it is not a given that it will all end up improving infrastructure. During the last 5 years, about £5 billion less has been spent on capital than had been planned for, because of a sixth of the capital budget being transferred to the day-to-day running pot to help balance the books. The truth is, it will be at the end of the financial year only that we will be able to see whether this promised money has gone where it should, and even if it does, it could be argued it is just reversing the cuts seen in the past few years. Cuts of which had to happen to get us into a position where we can then start to reinvest. I am, while a low-income person, smart enough to understand and accept consequences, and I have said this so many times. It is starting to wear at what little patience I have left from yesterday. Many critics have claimed that this is a drop in the ocean. I'd like to think of it as a drop in a black hole. That's not me taking a shot at the NHS because I love the NHS. It has served me well, it has served millions well. But when it comes to the subject of the NHS, one has to be a tad more pragmatic, because if they're not, they're going to start thinking, oh, NHS is golden, it's amazing. No, it's not. It has many issues. You can't just throw money at it, though, to solve it. One must be able to understand where the money is going, and so with Boris Johnson pledging all this extra money, there are a number of articles that have started to pick at this, most notably the one written by Nick Triggle, which is actually what I referenced a few quotes from. I will link his article down below, by all means read it. Some of it includes the breakdown of the £1.8 billion being invested, this year that is, and then there are questions. For example, what does Brexit do to the NHS? What is the NHS plan when it comes to funding and staffing with a lack thereof funding, and of course staffing? And of course, what is the current state of the NHS? Now, the NHS is going to start changing, in the sense that as they're going to be able to invest more money, it now needs to be able to rise above inflation so that the money counts for more, goes further, does more. I think while many think, and Labour certainly think this, that you should just throw lots of money at it and that will work, it doesn't. I've said it already in this video, I'm not repeating myself. Some have rightly asked where the money's coming from. Boris's claim is that it is coming from a growing economy. If that is to be believed, we will only know for sure at the end of the financial year, along with where the money has actually gone. A considerable amount of the NHS budget is spent on bureaucracy. Annoyingly, some of those people are paid a lot more than the doctors. Now, we can certainly discuss merit on that if you wish, but honestly I can't be bothered at this time. Perhaps in the future. Annoyingly, when it comes to the bureaucracy of the NHS, knowing where the money is going and making sure the money is spent correctly means that you are going to have to pay for people who are going to be very knowledgeable in doing that and ensuring wise investments. That doesn't mean making sure a machine runs past its sell-by date or warranty. No, just making sure you get the best out of things. I did mention inflation earlier. That'll be interesting to see whether or not more money can be invested that actually surpasses the rate of inflation to make sure the money is actually worth more than what it was 10 years ago, which is a regular talking point from Labour. We'll only know this for sure, I guess, when we get to September and the summer recess is over, so we can start to have a bit of fun with PMQs. I am so excited at the prospect of seeing Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn go one-on-one, and to see if the paper fiddler, paper pervert himself, Ian Blackford, has the balls to call the Prime Minister a racist to his face. That'll be funny, but we'll see.